Okay. Okay, I think we're live. I'm pretty sure. Be pretty... what's the word? Embarrassing if I wasn't. Hey, Matsubirner. Welcome, buddy. Oh, dear God. I'm 1 minute late. I'm so disappointed in myself. Been waiting for this stream all week as soon as I put it up. Hey, yo, what's up? Sorry, I don't remember you. Are you new? If you're new, then hey, welcome into the stream. If you're not new, sorry, I don't remember you. I know I'm 1 minute late. It's Ziggy. Oh, what's up, Ziggy? How you doing? You will not be forgiven? Damn, this is so sad. This is so sad. But we are here today. We are gathered here today to read some Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. One of the longest book titles I've ever heard. Maybe it's just because I don't read that many books. I'm good, man. Let's go. Hey, what's up? Remember that one show? I do remember that one show. It's my favorite show. But, alright. So a little bit before we get into the reading and the streaming. What do I know about Percy Jackson? Well, I know his name is Percy Jackson. I know that he is the son of Poseidon. I know that's a thing. I know basically everything that is told to us in the first two movies. I don't know how much of that stuff is actually canon, because I know that like the movies did a shit job at adapting the source material, but everything that was told, so I know who the Lightning Thief is already, so that's not going to be a surprise to me. I know that the second movie is way worse than the first one in terms of adaptation and like quality of it all. But yeah. Shit, what else? Is there anything else that I know about Percy Jackson? I don't know. It's Percy time. I can't wait for Percy to Lightning Thief everywhere. Bro, it's my favorite part. I love that part. And when Percy looks at the camera and he goes, "It's Lightning Thief in time." Love that part. It's so good. Shit, I feel like I should have more pre-stream shit to say, but I'm kind of running out of stuff. Ooh, one quick thing. Hold on. I went to the bookstore the other day, and I didn't know that there was a new Percy Jackson book coming out, but apparently there was. So I bought Chalice of Gods because it was there, and it's a signed copy of the book. So that's pretty cool. You can see like Mr. Riordan's little signature up in there. So yeah. If you guys don't have that, and you've read all the books, I guess I'm a realer Percy Jackson fan than all of you. Have I ever watched Adventure Time? Adventure Time is goated. Of course I've watched Adventure Time. It's amazing. Alright. I'm kind of scared, to be honest. Because the Percy Jackson fandom yelled at me, and they were like, "You're gonna love this book series." So, I better love this book series. If not, I'll be very disappointed that you yelled at me so much for a series that I'm not gonna like that much. Okay. Shit, I guess I don't have anything else to say. Let's just, I guess, get into the book. This feels like 6th grade all over again. Man, I wish I read Percy Jackson 6th grade. I wish I read it earlier, but I guess I'm reading it right now. I don't know how much we're gonna read, or how long I'm gonna be here. I'm probably gonna read at least the first 7 chapters, and then I want to decide after that if I'm gonna keep doing read streams, and if I will, then we'll do these every week. Who knows? But yeah, the first chapter is called "I Accidentally Vaporized My Pre-Algebra Teacher," which has got to be one of the greatest chapter names of all time, right? Like, that's awesome. I love everything about that. "We will keep yelling if you mess up." When would I mess up? I know how to read, I think. I haven't done it in a while. No, I read manga and stuff. I don't really read novels like that. But we'll see. Shit. Okay. I guess, yeah. I feel like I should have more stuff to say, but let's just start reading, I guess. Alright. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you might be one, my advice is close this book right now, believe whatever lie your mom or dad told you about your birth, and try to lead a normal life. Oh, okay. Alright. I guess that's the end of the book, guys. That's the end of the stream. The person told me to close the book, so nothing else I could do. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna read a little bit more. Being a half-blood is dangerous, it's scary. Most of the time it gets you killed in painful, nasty ways. If you're a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great, read on. I envy you for being able to believe that none of this ever happened. God, I kinda hope it did. I really hope this is a non-fiction story. Please, I want this to be non-fiction already. This is so cool. Alright. But if you recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something stirring inside, stop reading immediately. You might be one of us, and once you know that, it's only a matter of time before they sense it too. And they'll come for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. What? No. I know the lore. I watched the movie. Percy's 17, obviously. Until a few months ago, I was a boarding student at Yancey Academy, a private school for troubled kids in upstate New York. Am I a troubled kid? Yeah, you could say that. Oh my god, that's the line from the trailer. I could start at any point in my short, miserable life to prove it, but things really started going bad last May when our 6th grade class took a field trip to Manhattan. 28 medical case kids and 2 teachers on a yellow school bus heading to the Metropolitan Museum of Arts to look at ancient Greek and Roman stuff. I could probably take Percy in a fight, you think? You think you could take Percy in a fight? Oh no. Is my guy weak? Where was I? I know it sounds like torture. Most Yancey field trips were. But Mr. Brunner, our Latin teacher, was leading this trip, so I had hopes. Mr. Brunner was this middle-aged guy in a motorized wheelchair. He had thinning hair and a scruffy beard and a frayed tweed jacket, which always smelled like coffee. You wouldn't think he'd be cool, but he told stories and jokes that let us play in class. He also had this awesome collection of Roman armor and weapons. So he was the only teacher whose class didn't put me to sleep. I hoped the trip would be okay. At least I hoped that for once I wouldn't get in trouble. Boy, was I wrong. See, bad things happen to me on field trips. Bad things like what, Percy? Like what? Like at my 5th grade school field trip, he's about to tell me, we went to the Saratoga battlefield. I had this accent with the Revolutionary War cannon. I wasn't aiming for the school bus, but of course I got expelled anyway. What, you shot the school bus with a cannon? My guy, listen, I would have expelled you too. You can't be shooting school buses, my friend. That's just not okay. Nino, in your dreams? Yes, it's in my dreams. Also, welcome to the stream. I definitely haven't seen you before, Nino. Welcome in, buddy. Nice to have you here. Makes it a little bit more fun reading with you guys. Where the hell was I? School bus, but of course I got expelled anyway. And before that, at my 4th grade school, when we took a behind-the-scenes tour of the Marine World Shark Pool, I sort of hit the wrong lever on the catwalk, and our class took an unplanned swim. And the time before that, you get the idea. My guy, you are a safety hazard. This trip, I was determined to be good, all the way into the city. I put up with the Nancy Boba Fett, the freckly red-headed kleptomaniac girl hitting my best friend Grover in the back of the head with chunks of peanut butter and ketchup sandwich. Punch her in the face. Grover was an easy target. He was scrawny, he cried when he got frustrated, he must have been held back like several grades. What? Because he was the only 6th grader with acne and the start of a wispy beard on the chin. On top of that, he was crippled. He had a note excused from PE for the rest of his life because he had some kind of muscular disease on his legs. He walked funny, like every step hurt him. But don't let that fool you. You should have seen him run when it was enchilada day in the cafeteria. Anyway, Nancy Boba Fett was throwing the wads of sandwich that stuck in his curly brown hair. She knew I couldn't do anything back to her because I was already on probation. The headmaster had threatened me with death by in school. Oh, I thought she was gonna kill Percy. Hold on. Death by in school suspension. If anything bad, embarrassing, or even mildly entertaining happened on this trip, I'm going to kill her. I mumbled. Grover tried to calm me down. It's okay. I like peanut butter. He dodged another piece of Nancy's lunch. That's it. I started to get up, but Grover pulled me back to my seat. You're already on probation, he reminded me. You know who'll get blamed if anything happens. Looking back on it, I wish I decked Nancy Boba Fett. I wish you decked her too. She sounds annoying as hell. It wasn't. I'd personally never let that happen. Honestly, bro, it's pretty rude. It was an accident. Couldn't be me, honestly, bro. Percy should beat her ass, to be honest. That's what I'm thinking. For no reason, I used to image her as a cute bully type when I was young. I was a weird child. It sounds like it. But Nancy Boba Fett is an ugly ass name. I feel like this girl has mad buck teeth. Right then and there, in-school suspension would have been nothing compared to the mess I was about to get myself into. Oh, here we go. There you go. The story's about to happen. Story activate. Mr. Bruno led the museum tour. He rode up He rode up front in his wheelchair, guiding us through the big, echoey galleries and post-marble statues, and the glass cases full of really old black and orange pottery. It blew my mind that this stuff had survived for 2,000, 3,000 years. He gathered us around a 13-foot tall stone column with a big sphinx on the top, and started telling us how it was a grave marker, a stele for a girl about our age. I'm probably not reading that correctly. Stele? He told us about the carving on the side. I was trying to listen to what he had to say because it was kind of interesting, but everybody around me was talking. And every time I told them to shut up, the other teacher chaperone, Miss Dodds, would give me the evil eye. Miss Dodds was the little math teacher from Georgia who always wore a black leather jacket. She's the Night Fury, right? She's like the evil. That's not Night Fury is from How to Train Your Dragon. That's not what that is. I don't know why I said that. She's the little evil. Yep. I'm gonna end that sentence there. That was not a good sentence. Black leather jacket, even though she was 50 years old. She looked mean enough to ride a Harley right into your locker. She had come to Yancey halfway through the year, when our last math teacher had a nervous breakdown from her first day. Miss Dodds loved Nancy Boba and figured I was devil spawn. She would point her crooked finger at me and say, "Now, honey," real sweet, and I knew I was going to go after school detention for a month. One time, after she'd made me erase answers out of old math workbooks until midnight, I told Grover, "What? She's allowed to make you stay that long?" Nah. Me and Miss Dodds would fight. If Miss Dodds made me stay at school that long, we're fighting. I don't care. I told Grover I didn't think Miss Dodds was human. He looked at me real serious and said, "You're absolutely right." What? Mr. Brunner kept talking about Greek funeral art. Finally, Nancy Boba Fett snickered around something about the naked guy on the stele. That's not how you say that. Is it stele or stele? I don't know. I could beat Percy because I already beat 12-year-olds for fun? My guy! Listen, he's lying. For legal reasons, that's a joke. Madsen, you are not that guy, pal? Damn. Says you'd lose to 12-year-olds, apparently. Damn, okay, here we go. Yeah, so, and I turned around and I said, "Will you shut up?" It came out louder than I meant it to. The whole group laughed. Mr. Brunner stopped his story. "Mr. Jackson," he said, "did you have a comment?" My face was totally red, and I said, "No, sir." Mr. Brunner pointed to one of the pictures on the stele. "Perhaps you'll tell us what this picture represents." I looked at the carvings and felt a flush of relief because I actually recognized it. That's Kronos eating his kids, right? That is a crazy sentence. That is a wild sentence. Yes, Mr. Brunner said, obviously not satisfied, and he did this because, well, I racked my brain to remember. Kronos was the king god, and God, Mr. Brunner asked. Titan, I corrected myself. And he didn't trust his kids, who were the gods. So, Kronos ate them, right? But his wife hid baby Zeus and gave Kronos a rock to eat instead. And later, when Zeus grew up, he tricked his dad, Kronos, into barfing up his brothers and sisters. Ew, said one of the girls behind me. Oh yeah, that's the story that from, what's it called? That's the story I heard in, the Disney movie, the Hercules. Yeah, they tell us that story in Hercules. I know Greek mythology. I know things. And there was a big fight between the gods and Titans, like a team. And the gods won. Let's go. God W. Some snickers from the group behind me. Nancy Boba Fett mumbled to a friend, like we're going to use this in real life. like it's going to say, say on our job applications, "Please explain why Kronos ate his kids." Listen, maybe not you, but somebody will. Somebody will. "And why, Mr. Jackson?" Brunner said. To paraphrase Boba Fett's excellent question, "Does this matter in real life?" "Busted," Grover muttered. "Shut up, Nancy," Nancy hissed, her face even brighter red than her hair. At least Nancy got packed too. Mr. Brunner was the only one who had ever caught her saying anything wrong. He had radar ears. I thought about his question and shrugged. "I don't know, sir." "I see." Mr. Brunner looked disappointed. "Well, half credit, Mr. Jackson." "What? He knew a lot of stuff. That's at least 3/4 credit." Zeus did indeed feed Kronos a mixture of mustard and wine, which made him... Mustard and wine, which made him disgorge his other 5 children, who, of course, being immortal gods, had been living and growing up completely undigested in Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, sliced him to pieces with his own scythe, and scattered his remains in Tartarus. But hold on. If they live, right, like they can't die because they're immortal, why doesn't he just barf them up and eat them again? Does he eat them because they taste good, or does he eat them just to fuck with them? Because if he eats them because they taste good, this is a weird tangent, but like, I feel like he would want to eat them multiple times because he can, right? I don't know. That's weird. But it's accurate to the myths. No, the movie was way off. 10 out of 10 movie, though. It was because of the kid's prophecy given to him that he ate his kids. He didn't want to be dethroned by his kids. That's why I said Kronos did nothing wrong. Honestly, Kronos did nothing wrong, bro. Kronos for president, actually. A similar thing happened to another Greek hero. Listen, I hope you guys telling me this stuff isn't spoilers for the story. I don't want any spoilers for the story. If it is, then please don't. If it's not, then keep up with the Greek mythology. Stuff's pretty cool, actually. Yeah. Indeed. Where the hell was I? Who, of course, being immortal gods had been living and growing up completely unadjusted in Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, sliced them up to pieces and scattered them to remains of Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld. On that happy note, it's time for lunch. Miss Dodds, would you lead us back outside? The class drifted off. The girls holding their stomachs, the guys pushing each other around and acting like doofuses. Grover and I were about to follow when Mr. Brunner said, "Mr. Jackson." I knew that was coming. I told Grover to keep going, but I turned toward Mr. Brunner. "Sir?" Mr. Brunner had this look that wouldn't let you go. Intense brown eyes that could have been 1,000 years old, and it had seen everything. Is that foreshadowing? You must have known the answers to my question, Mr. Brunner told me. About the Titans? About real life, and how your studies apply to it. Oh. What you learned from me, he said, is vitally important. I expect you to treat it as such. I will only accept the best from you, Percy Jackson. I wanted to get angry. This guy pushed me so hard. I mean, it was kind of cool on tournament days when he dressed up in a suit of Roman armor and shouted, "What ho!" and challenged us sword point against chalk to run to the board and name every Greek Roman person who had ever lived. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty dope teacher. And their mothers. Okay. And their mother, what god they worshipped. But Mr. Brunner expected me to be as good as everybody else, despite the fact that I have dyslexia and attention deficit disorder. Yo, same. And I never made above a C+ in my life. No, he didn't expect me to be as good. He expected me to be better. I just couldn't learn all those names and facts, much less spell them correctly. I mumbled something about trying harder, while Mr. It's not okay. Good. Mr. Brunner took one long, sad look at the steel, like he'd been at this girl's funeral. He told me to go outside and eat my lunch. This has to be hella foreshadowing. It has to be. The class gathered on the front steps of the amusement where you could watch the foot traffic along 5th Avenue. Overhead, a huge storm was brewing, with clouds blacker than I'd ever seen over the city. I figured maybe it was global warming or something, because the weather all across New York State had been weird since Christmas. We'd have massive snowstorms, flooding wildfires from lightning strikes. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was a hurricane blowing in. Nobody else seemed to notice. Some of the guys were pelting pigeons with Lunchable crackers. Nancy Beaufort was trying to pickpocket something from a lady's purse. And of course, Miss Dodds wasn't seeing a thing. Grover and I sat on the edge of the fountain, away from the others. We thought that maybe if we did that, everybody wouldn't know we were from that school. The school for losers, freaks, who couldn't make it elsewhere. Detention! No, this is a question. Detention? Grover asked. Nah, I said. Not from Brunner. I just wish he'd lay off me sometimes. I mean, I'm not a genius. Grover didn't say anything for a while. Then, when I thought he was going to give me some deep philosophical comment, make me feel better, he said, "Can I have your apple?" Chad shit. That's what I do. I steal my friend's food all the time. It's quite fun. I didn't have much of an appetite, so I let him take it. I watched the stream of Cab's Horn. The only good part of the live-action movies is how they showed Percy's dyslexia. I always thought that was a really cool effect. What, you don't like the Camp Half-Blood scenes of the fighting or the actors? Actually, okay. You know what I really like? I love the poker face scene. The poker face scene is great, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Okay, that's a fantastic scene, and that is peak cinema. I watched a stream of cabs going down 5th Avenue and thought about my mom's apartment, only a little ways uptown from where we sat. I hadn't seen her since Christmas. I wanted so bad to jump in a taxi. Oh, why not? Oh wait, is it boarding school? Am I slow? Am I just catching that? Did he tell me that earlier? I wanted so bad to jump in a taxi and head home. She'd hug me and be glad to see me, but she'd be disappointed too. She'd send me right back to Yancey, remind me that I had to try harder. Even if this was my 6th school in 6 years, I was probably going to be kicked out again. I wouldn't be able to stand that sad look she'd give me. Mr. Brunner parked his wheelchair at the base of the handicapped ramp. He ate celery while he read a paperback novel, Paperback Superiority. A red umbrella stuck up from the back of his chair, making it look like a motorized cafe table. I was about to unwrap my sandwich when Nancy Boba Fett appeared in front of me with her ugly friends. Damn. I guess she got tired of stealing from the tourists and dumped her half-eaten lunch in Grover's lap. What a bitch! What a mythic bitch! Percy, beat her ass. Just beat her up, bro. Listen, nobody feel bad for Nancy Boba Fett, okay? Is my stream lagging? It looks like my stream's lagging. I really hope it's not. That'd be very embarrassing. Yeah. Oops, she grinned at me with her crooked teeth. Her freckles were orange, as somebody had spray painted her face with liquid Cheetos. I tried to stay I tried to stay cool. The school counselor had told me a million times, count to 10, get control of your temper. But I was so mad, my mind went blank. A wave roared in my ears. I don't remember touching her, but the next thing I knew, Nancy was sitting on her butt in the fountain, screaming, "Percy pushed me!" You deserve it, probably. You definitely deserve that, from what I hear, from what I've been told about you. Miss Dodds materialized next to us. Some of the kids were whispering, Did you see the water? Like it grabbed her. What? He's a water bender? I didn't know what they were talking about. All I knew was that I was in trouble again. As soon as Miss Dodds was sure, poor little Nancy was okay, promising to get her a new shirt at the museum gift shop, etc., etc. Miss Dodds turned on me. There was a triumphant fire in her eyes, as if I'd done something she'd been waiting for all semester. Now, honey, hold on. Who's trying to come into this area? Hello?
Did you go get some food?
No. I went to get a job application. Anyways, continuing. Sorry about that. Where the hell was I? The water. I didn't know what they were talking about. All I knew was that I was in trouble again. As soon as Miss Dodds, the poor little Nancy, whatever, Miss Dodds turned on me. There was a triumphant fire in her eyes, as if I'd done something she'd been waiting for all semester. Now, honey, I know, I grumbled. A month erasing workbooks. That wasn't the right thing to say. Come with me, Miss Dodds said. Wait, Grover yelped. It was me. I pushed her. What a homie. What a Chad, even. Grover's the best. Love Grover. Why do I keep losing my page? I'm stupid. I stared at him, stunned. I couldn't believe he was trying to cover for me. Miss Dodds scared Grover to death. She glared at him so hard. His whiskery chin trembled. I don't think so, Mr. Underwood, she said. But you will stay here. No, it's you will stay here. Would you rather have a high five or a low five? What is a low five? That sounds oddly sexual for some reason. I don't know if I like that. Grover looked at me desperately. It's okay, man. It's okay, man, I told him. Thanks for trying. Honey, Miss Dodds barked at me. Now, Nancy Boba Fett smirked. I gave her my deluxe I'll kill you later stare. Then I turned to face Miss Dodds, but she wasn't there. She was standing at the museum entrance, way at the top of the steps, gesturing impatiently at me to come on. How'd she get there so fast? Wait, hold on. I missed something. I read that chapter, but I read that paragraph, but I definitely missed it. I gave her my deluxe I'll kill you stare. Then I turned to face Miss Dodds, but then she wasn't there. She was standing at the museum entrance, way at the top of the steps, gesturing impatiently at me to come on. How'd she get there so fast? I have moments like that a lot, when my brain falls asleep or something, and the next thing I know, I have missed something, as if a puzzle piece fell out of the universe, and left me staring at a blank place behind it. The school counselor told me this was part of the ADHD, my brain misinterpreting things. I wasn't so sure. I went after Miss Dodds. Halfway up the steps, I glanced back at Grover. He was looking pale, cutting his eye between me and Mr. Brunner, like he wanted Mr. Brunner to notice what was going on. Mr. Brunner was absorbed in his novel. I looked back up. Miss Dodds disappeared again. She is now inside the building. At the end, can Miss Dodds flash step? Is she a ninja? 5 in the stinky? Sir, my friend, I will not be taking a low 5 anytime soon. No, thank you. Mr. Brunner's in his book. I looked up. Miss Dodds had disappeared again. She was now inside the building at the end of the entrance hall. Okay, I thought, she's going to make me buy a new shirt for Nancy at the gift shop, but apparently that wasn't the plan. I followed her into the museum. When I finally caught up to her, we were back in the Greek and Roman section, except for us, the gallery... When I finally caught up to her, we were back in the Roman section. Except for us, the gallery was empty. Miss Dodds stood with her arms crossed in front of a big marble frieze of the Greek gods. She was making this weird noise in her throat, like growling. Even without the noise, I would have been nervous. It's weird being alone with a teacher, especially Miss Dodds. Something about the way she looked at the freeze as if she wanted to pulverize it. "You've been giving us problems, honey," she said. "I did the safe thing," I said. "Yes, ma'am." She tugged on the cuffs of her leather jacket. Did you really think you would get away with it?" "Maybe 6? 6 what? 6 what? In the stinky? No, sir. No thanks. I'm good, thank you. I'm very much good." I did the same thing, I said. "Yes, ma'am." She tugged on the cuffs of her leather jacket. "Did you really think you would get away with it?" The look in her eyes was beyond mad. It was evil. "She's a teacher," I thought nervously. "It's not like she's going to hurt me." I said, "I'll try harder, ma'am." Thunder shook the building. "We are not fools, Percy Jackson," Miss Dodd said. "It was only a matter of time before we found you out. Confess it, and you will suffer less pain." No, not like that. What is it like then, sir? I didn't know what she was talking about. All I could think of was that the teacher must have found the illegal stash of candy I'd been selling out of my door. My boy's a hustler. Let's go. Or maybe they'd realize I got my essay on Tom Sawyer from the internet without ever reading the book, and now they were going to take away my grade. Or worse, they were going to make me read the book. Oh, God. Gotta love a book character hating on books. You'll love to see it. "Well," she demanded. "Ma'am, I don't. Your time is up," she hissed. "Your time is up?" What is she hissing, right? Then the weirdest thing happened. Her eyes began to glow like barbecue coals. Her fingers stretched into talons. Her jacket melted into large leathery wings. She wasn't human. She was a shriveled hag with bat wings and claws and a mouth full of yellow fangs, and she was about to slice me to ribbons. Okay. I feel like that was a pretty abrupt change. I don't know. I just didn't expect that to happen. Like I expected it to happen, but it was like, oh, it was a chill afternoon, and then my teacher turned into a monster. Like, what? Then things got even stranger. Mr. Brunner, who'd been out of the museum a minute before, wheeled his chair into the doorway of the gallery, holding a pen in his hand. "What ho, Percy!" he shouted, and tossed the pen through the air. Miss Dodds lunged at me. Whoa, this book's moving fast. With a yelp, I dodged and felt talons slash the air next to my ear. I snatched the ballpoint pen out of the air, but when it hit my hand, it wasn't a pen anymore. It was a sword. Mr. Brunner's bronze sword, which he always used on tournament day. Miss Dodds spun toward me with a murderous look in her eyes. My knees were jelly. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the sword. She snarled, "Die, honey." Whoa, that's the most aggressive honey I've ever read. And she flew straight at me. The absolute terror that ran through my body. I did the only thing that came naturally. I swung the sword. The metal blade hit her shoulder and passed clean through her body as if she were made of water. Whoa, my boy is about to murder this teacher. Miss Dodds was a sandcastle and a power fan. She exploded to yellow powder, vaporized on the spot, leaving nothing but the smell of sulfur and a dying screech, and a child of evil in the air, as if those two glowing red eyes were still watching me. I was alone. There was a ballpoint pen in my hand. Mr. Brunner wasn't there. Nobody was there but me. My hands were still trembling. My lunch must have been contaminated with magic mushrooms or something. Had I imagined the whole thing? I went back outside and I started to run. Whoa. Let me flip. Did I miss something? Did I read that and forget to comprehend anything that I just read? He swung through the thing. Miss Dodds was a sandcastle and a power fan. She exploded the yellow powder, vaporized on the spot. Okay. She's dead. She's been disintegrated. Okay. I guess my brain just read that and I just didn't process it. And a dying screech and a child of like a Pokemon, and as if those two glowing red eyes were still watching me. I was alone, and there was a ballpoint pen in my hand. My guy is on some really intense drugs, and I want it. What's the name of your stormtrooper? Oh, this is FN 2187. This is just Finn from The Force Awakens. That's him. But between you and me, I like to call him Drip Trooper because of all the drip that he is currently wearing. Mr. Renner, there was a ballpoint pen in my hand. Mr. Renner wasn't there. Nobody was there but me. Okay. Next page. Yeah, the black one. Yes. I'm glad that's how you know this, Stormtrooper. My hands were still trembling. My lunch must have been contaminated with magic mushrooms or something. Had I imagined the whole thing? I went back outside. It started to rain. Grover was by the fountain. A museum map tented over his head. Nancy Boba Fett was still standing there, soaked from her swim in the fountain, grumbling to her ugly friend. When she saw me, she said, "I hope Miss Kerr with your butt." What? Who's Miss Kerr? I said, "Who?" "Our teacher, duh." I blinked. We had no teacher named Miss Kerr. I asked Nancy what she was talking about. She just rolled her eyes and turned away. I asked Grover where Miss Dodds was. He said, "Who?" But he paused first. No, that's a call coming in. I have to ignore that. But he paused first, and he wouldn't look at me. So I thought he was messing with me. "Not funny, man." I told him, "This is serious." Thunder boomed overhead. I saw Mr. Bruner sitting under his red umbrella, reading his book as if he'd never moved. I went over to him. He looked up a little distracted. "Ah, that would be my pen. Please bring your own writing utensil in the future, Mr. Jackson." I handed Mr. Bruner his pen. I hadn't even realized I was still holding it. "Sir," I said, "where's Miss Dodds?" He stared at me blankly. "Who?" "They're the chaperone. Miss Dodds, the pre-algebra teacher?" He frowned and sat forward, looking mildly concerned. "Percy, there is no Miss Dodds on this trip. As far as I know, there has never been a Miss Dodds at the NC Academy. Are you feeling all right?" And that is the end of chapter 1. What the hell did I just read? So they are gaslighting Percy hard, right? Am I supposed to feel like that was a fever dream? Because that's exactly how I feel. Hold on, I gotta take a swig of water. Reading out loud really dries the, parches the, quenches the. I need to drink. I don't know. I'm trying to say something funny, and it didn't work. But okay, that's weird. That they're gaslighting my guy hard. Nobody remembers Miss Dodds for some reason. That's interesting. What's my favorite food? Ramen. Ramen is the greatest food to ever exist, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Ramen is delicious. Okay. The next chapter is called 3 Old Ladies Knit the Socks of Death. I don't know what the Socks of Death are, but I would probably never want to wear them. Shit, okay. I feel like I should have more post-chapter thoughts, but I honestly don't know what happened. Percy's a troubled kid. He tries sometimes. Sometimes he cheats like a Chad. And sometimes he murders his teachers with a mythical sword that was a pen, but nobody believes him, or it didn't actually happen like it happened, but it didn't happen. I'm kind of confused right now, I'm not gonna lie. But regardless, we read on. Okay. I don't know, I kind of wanted to do 7 chapters, but that first chapter took me roughly 30 minutes. And I kind of underestimated how long book chapters are, so we'll see how far we get in this first stream. Oh god, sorry for the burp. That happens when I do read streams for whatever reason. Anyways, 3 Old Ladies Knit the Socks of Death. I was used to the occasional weird experience, but usually they were over quickly. This 24-hour 7 hallucination was more than I could handle. Also, has this happened before? Has he, like, murdered teachers that have come to try to kill him, and everybody was like, nah, it didn't happen. Nah, it didn't happen, actually. It was a fake. It was a joke, it was a prank. It was just the occasional weird experience, but usually they were over quickly. The 24-hour 7 hallucination was more than I could handle. For the rest of the school year, the entire campus would be playing some kind of trick on me. The students acted as if they were completely and totally convinced that Miss Kerr, a perky blonde woman whom I'd never seen in my life until she got nervous at the end of the field trip, had been our pre-algebra teacher since Christmas. Interesting. Every so often, I would spring a Miss Dodds reference on somebody to see if I could trip them up, but they would stare at me like I was a psycho. It got so I almost believed them. Miss Dodds had never existed. Almost. But Grover couldn't fool me. When I mentioned the name Dodds to him, he would hesitate. Then claim she didn't exist. But I knew he was lying. Something was going on. Something had happened. at the museum. I didn't have much time to think about it during the days, but at night, visions of Miss Dawes with talons and leathery wings would wake me up in a cold sweat. The freak weather continued, which didn't help my mood. One night, a thunderstorm blew out the windows in my dorm room. A few days later, the biggest tornado ever spotted in the Hudson Valley touched down only 50 miles from Yancey Academy. One of the current events he studied in social studies class was the unusual number of small planes that had gone down in sudden squalls in the Atlantic last year. I started feeling cranky and irritable. Most of the time, my grades slipped from D's to F's. I got into fights with Nancy Wobbuffet and her friends. I was sent out into the hallway in almost every class. Finally, when our English teacher, Mr. Nicole, asked me for the millionth time why I was too lazy to study for spelling test, I snapped. I called him an old sot. Sot? Is that an actual insult? I don't think my guy needs to up his insult game. That is not the one, Percy. You gotta try a new one. I wasn't even sure what it meant, but it sounded good. Yeah, okay. See, he knows. That's not a good insult. The headmaster sent my mom a letter the following week, making it official. I would not be invited back next year to Yancey Academy. Well, I got kicked out. This is so sad. Fine, I told myself. Just fine. I was homesick. I wanted to be with my mom in a little apartment on the Upper East Side. Even if I had to go to public school and put up with my obnoxious stepfather and his stupid poker parties. And yet, there were things that miss at Yancey. The view of the woods out my dorm window, the Hudson River in the distance, the smell of pine trees. I'd miss Grover, who'd been a good friend, even if he was a little strange. I worried how he'd survive next year without me. I'd miss Latin class too. Mr. Bruner's crazy tournament days and his faith that I could do well. As exam week got closer, Latin was the only test I studied for. I hadn't forgotten what Mr. Bruner said. He told me about this subject being life and death for me. I wasn't sure, but why, but I'd start to believe him. Probably because you got attacked by a mythical monster and then he lied to your face about it. But don't worry, Perce. From what I remember about the movies, you will be just fine. You'll see Mr. Bruner and Grover again. Also, I assumed Grover and him were childhood friends. But no, they only met when he got to Yancey. Interesting. The evening before my final, I got so frustrated. I threw the Cambridge Guide to Greek Mythology across my dorm room. Words had started swimming off the page, circling in my head. The letters doing 180s as if they were riding skateboards. There was no way I was going to remember the difference between Chiron, or Polydictes and Polyducius, and conjugating those Latin verbs. Forget it. I paced the room, feeling like ants were crawling around inside my shirt. Remember Mr. Bruner's serious expression, his 1,000-year-old eyes. I will only accept the best from you, Percy Jackson. I took a deep breath. I picked up the mythology book. I'd never asked teacher for help before. Maybe if I talked to Mr. Bruner, he could give me some pointers. At least I could apologize for the big fat F I was about to score on his exam. I didn't want to leave Yancey Academy with him thinking I hadn't tried. I walked downstairs to the faculty offices. Most of them were dark and empty, but Mr. Bruner's door was ajar. Light from his window stretching across the hallway floor. Okay, that's a real sentence. I was there. I was 3 steps from the door handle when I heard voices inside the office. Mr. Bruner asked the question. A voice that was definitely Grover said, "Worried about Percy, sir?" I froze. I'm not usually an eavesdropper, but I dare you to try not listening if you hear your best friend talking about you to an adult. That's facts. I bet that's facts. I inched closer. Alone this summer, Grover was saying. I mean, a kindly one in the school. Now that we know for sure, and they know too, we would only make matters worse by rushing him, Mr. Bruner said. We need the boy to mature more. But he may not have time. The summer solstice is deadline. Oh, it's always the summer solstice. It's always the summer solstice. When is it not the summer solstice? Hold on. I feel like this Percy Jackson thing is too up on me. There we go. It's a little bit more space. Anyways, it's making me a little bit claustrophobic. Summer Solstice is a classic. We'll have to be resolved without him. Grover let him enjoy his ignorance Will have to be resolved without him, Grover. Let him enjoy his ignorance while he still can. Sir, he saw her. His imagination, Mr. Brunner insisted. The mist over the students and staff will be enough to convince him of that. Sir, I can't fail in my duties again. Grover's voice was choked with emotion. You know what that would mean. You haven't failed, Grover, Mr. Brunner said kindly. I should have seen her for what she was. Now let's just worry about keeping Percy alive until next fall. Okay, so yeah, they're gaslighting him with some mist. My favorite food is watermelon, fried chicken, and Kool-Aid. Is that a diss, Matson? Is that a diss at me for being black, sir? You wanna redact that, my friend? The mythology book dropped out of my hand and hit the floor with a thud. Mr. Brunner went silent. My heart hammering, I picked up the book and back down the hall. A shadow slid across the lightened glass of Brunner's office door. The shadow was something much taller than my wheelchair-bound teacher. My bad. Sorry, Reed stream burp. Happens all the time. Where was I? Wheelchair-bound teacher. Where the fuck did I go? Yeah. I'm sure. Holding something that looks suspiciously like an archer's bow. I opened the nearest door and slipped inside. A few seconds later, I heard a slow clop, 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 like muffled wood blocks. Then a sound like an animal snuffling right outside my door. A large, dark shape paused in front of the glass, then moved on. A bead of sweat trickled down my neck. Somewhere in the hallway, Mr. Brunner spoke. Nothing, he muttered. My nerves haven't been right since the winter solstice. Hold on. Okay, so that's the end of the conversation. Mine neither, Grover said. But I could have sworn. Go back to the dorm, Mr. Brunner told him. You've got a long day of exams tomorrow. Don't remind me. The lights went out in Mr. Brunner's office. I waited in the dark for what seemed like forever. Finally, I slipped into the hallway and made my way back up the dorm. Grover was lying on his bed, studying his Latin exam. Notes like he'd been there all night. Hey, he said, bleary-eyed. You're going to be ready for this test? I didn't answer. You look awful, he frowned. Is everything okay? Just tired. I turned so he couldn't read my expressions and started getting ready for bed. I didn't understand what I heard downstairs. I wanted to believe I'd imagined the whole thing. But one thing was clear. Grover and Mr. Brunner were talking about me behind my back. They thought I was in some kind of danger. Because you are, Percy. They think you're the lightning thief or something or other. The next afternoon, as I was leaving the 3-hour Latin exam, my eyes swimming with all the Greek and Roman names I'd misspelled. Mr. Brunner called me back inside for a moment. I was worried he found out about my eavesdropping the night before, but that didn't seem to be the problem. Percy, he said, don't be discouraged about leaving Yancy. It's for the best. His tone was kind. The word still embarrassed me. Even though he was speaking quietly, the other kids finishing the test could hear. Nancy Beaufort smirked at me and made sarcastic little kissing motions with her lips. I need to learn to read periods, because I just kind of mow right over them. I mumbled, okay, sir. I mean, Mr. Brunner wheeled his chair back and forth like he wasn't sure what to say. This isn't the right place for you. It was only a matter of time. Want to be a little less cryptic, my friend? I know you've got a real horse's ass, as the kids say. My eyes stung. Here was my favorite teacher in front of the class, telling me I couldn't handle it. After saying he believed in me all year, now he was telling me I was destined to get kicked out. Right, I said, trembling. No, Mr. Brunner said. Oh, confound it all. What I'm trying to say is, you're not normal, Percy. That's nothing to be... Thanks, I blurted. Thanks a lot, sir, for reminding me. Percy! But I was already gone. Oh, this is so sad. This is so sad. Poor little Percy Jackson. On the last day of the term, I shoved my clothes into my suitcase. The other guys were joking around, talking about their vacation plans. One of them was going on a hiking trip to Switzerland. Another was cruising the Caribbean for a month. They were juvenile delinquents, like me, but they were rich Jewel delinquents, the best kind. Their daddies were executives or ambassadors or celebrities. I was nothing I was a nobody from a family of nobodies. They asked me what I'd be doing this summer, and I told them I was going back to the city. What I didn't tell them was I'd have to get a summer job while walking dogs or selling magazine subscriptions, and spending my free time worrying about where I'd go to school in the fall. God, why does the roof of my mouth hurt when I read out loud? Is this a normal phenomenon? No, I'm 0.1% black. I would never do that. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, one of the guys said, "That's cool." We went back to their conversation as if I never existed. The only person I dread saying goodbye to was Grover, but as it turned out, I didn't have to. He booked a ticket to Manhattan on the same Greyhound as I had. So there we were, together again, heading into the city. During the whole bus ride, Grover kept glancing nervously down the aisle, watching the other passengers. It occurred to me that he'd always acted nervous and fidgety when we left Nancy, as if he expected something bad to happen. Before, I'd always assumed he was worried about getting teased, but there was nobody to tease him on the Greyhound. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore. I said, "Looking for kindly ones? What the hell does that mean? Am I supposed to know what that means?" Grover nearly jumped out of his seat. What do you mean?" I confessed about eavesdropping on him and Mr. Brunner on the night before the exam. Grover's eye twitched. "How much did you hear?" "Oh, not much. What's the summer solstice deadline?" He winced. "Look, Percy, I was just worried for you. You see, I mean, hallucinating about demon math teachers, Grover. And I was telling Mr. Brunner that maybe you were overstressed or something, because there was no such person as Miss Dodds. And my dude, tell him the truth. It's okay. It's okay." "Grover, you're a really, really bad liar." His ears turned pink from his short pocket. He fished out a grubby business card. "Just take this, okay? In case you need me this summer." His card was in a fancy script, which was murder on my dyslexic eyes. But I finally made out something like Grover Underwood, Keeper, Half-Blood Hill, Long Island, New York, 800-009-0009. Was that a number, for those of you who've read this book, like back in the day, was that a number you could call? Like when this book came out? Like would that number do something? And if I still called that number, would it do something? I'm curious. Because sometimes people do things like that, where they put like numbers in a book or at a movie, and it's like if you call it, something special happens. Was that a thing? Don't say it out loud, he yelped. "That's my summer address." My heart sank. Grover had a summer home? I'd never considered that his family might be as rich as the others at Yancey. "Okay," I said glumly. "It's like if I want to come visit your mansion." He nodded. Or if you need me. Why would I need you?" It came out harsher than I meant it to. Grover blushed right down to his Adam's apple. "Look, Percy, the truth is, I kind of have to protect you." I stared at him. All year long, I'd gotten into fights, keeping bullies away from him. I'd lost sleep worrying that he'd get beaten up next year without me. And here he was, acting like he was the one who defended me. "Grover," I said, "what exactly are you protecting me from?" There was a huge grinding noise under our feet. Black smoke poured from the dashboard, and the whole bus filled with the smell like rotten eggs. The driver cursed and limped the Greyhound over to the side of the highway. After a few minutes clanking around the engine compartment, the driver announced that we'd all have to get off. Grover and I filed outside with everybody else. We were on a stretch of country road. No place you'd notice if you didn't break down there. On our side of the highway was nothing but maple trees and litter from passing cars. On the other side, across 4 lanes of asphalt, shimmering with afternoon heat, was an old-fashioned fruit stand. The stuff on sale looked really good, heaping boxes of blood-red cherries and apples, walnuts and apricots, jugs of cider, and a clawfoot tub full of ice. There were no customers, just 3 old ladies sitting in rocking chairs in the shade of a maple tree, knitting the biggest pair of socks I'd ever seen. I mean, these socks were the size of sweaters. Oh shit. But they were clearly socks. The lady on the right knitted one of them, the lady in the left knitted the other. The lady in the middle held an enormous basket of electric blue yarn. All three of them looked ancient, with pale faces, wrinkled like fruit leather, silver hair tied back in white bandanas, bony arms sticking out of bleached cotton dresses. The weirdest thing was they seemed to be looking right at me. Are these the ladies from the cab, perhaps? Possibly. I looked over at Grover to say something about this and saw that the blood had drained from his face. His nose was twitching. Grover, I said, "Hey man, tell me they're not looking at you. They are, aren't they?" "Yeah, weird, huh? You think those socks would fit me?" "Not funny, Percy. Not funny at all." The old lady in the middle took out a huge pair of scissors, gold and silver, long bladed and like shears. I heard Grover catch his breath. "We're getting on the bus," he told me. "Come on." "What?" I said. "It's 1,000 degrees in there." "Come on." He pried open the door and climbed inside, but I stayed back, across the road. The old ladies were still watching me. The middle one cut the yarn, and I swear I could hear that snip across 4 lanes of traffic. Her 2 eyes balled up, the electric blue socks leaving me wondering who they could possibly be for. The Sasquatch or Godzilla? Godzilla can't wear socks. His toes are too pointy. Silly Percy. At the rear of the bus, the driver wrenched a big chunk of smoking metal out of the engine compartment. The bus shuddered and the engine roared back to life. The passengers cheered. "Darn right!" yelled the driver. He slapped the bus with his hat. "Everybody back on board." Once we got going, I started feeling feverish. It's as if I'd caught the flu. Grover didn't look much better. He was shivering. His teeth were chattering. God. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Jesus Christ. "Grover?" "Yeah?" What are you not telling me?" He dabbed his forehead with his shirt sleeve. "Percy, what do you see back at the fruit stand?" "You mean the old ladies? What is it about them, man? They're not like Miss Dodds, are they?" His expression was hard to read, but I got the feeling the fruit stand ladies were something much, much worse than Miss Dodds. He said, "Just tell me what you saw." The middle one took out her scissors, and she cut the yarn. He closed his eyes and made a gesture with fingers that might have been crossing himself. But it wasn't. It was something else. Something almost older, he said. "You saw her snip the cord?" "Yeah, so? But even if I said it, I knew it was a big deal. Even if I said it, I knew it was a big deal." This is not happening," Grover mumbled. He started chewing at his thumb. "I don't want this to be like the last time." "What last time?" Was Grover a protector in the past? Maybe? Oh, always 6th grade. They never get past 6th. Was I right about that? Don't tell me if I was. Was I right about that, though? But don't tell me if I was. Was he a protector in the past? "Grover," I said, because it was really starting to scare me. "What are you talking about?" "Me walk you home from the bus station. Promise me." It seemed like a strange request to me, but I promised he could. "It's like a superstition thing or something?" I asked. No answer. "Grover, that's the snipping of the yarn. Does that mean somebody's going to die?" He looked at me mournfully, like he was already picking the kind of flower I like best on my coffin. And that is the end of the 2nd chapter. Definitely a shorter chapter than the first one. Not by much. Damn, this reading is killing my mouth. This does not happen when I read manga, and I do voices for that. I'm not doing voices for this because I can't look at them and tell what I think they would look like, but I can try maybe. Anyways, that was interesting. Is that what the snip means? What do you mean if they never get past 6th grade? Have you had to protect somebody before and they died? This is interesting. Grover unexpectedly loses his pants, and all of a sudden, this YA novel is rated X. You love to see it. Percy and Grover sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I indeed. Alright. Confession time. I ditched Grover as soon as we got to the bus terminal. What a bitch. What a bitch, Percy. I know, it was rude, but Grover was freaking me out, looking at me like I was a dead man, muttering, "Why does this always happen? Why does it always have to be 6th grade?" Whenever he got upset, Grover's bladder acted out, so I wasn't surprised when as soon as we got off the bus, he made me promise to wait for him, then made a beeline for the restroom. Instead of waiting, I got my suitcase, slipped outside, and caught the first taxi uptown. East 104th and 1st, I told the driver. A word about my mother before you meet her. Okay. This is Peter was talking to us. A word about my mother before you meet her. Her name is Sally Jackson. She's the best person in the world, which is proving my theory that the best people have the rottenest luck. Her own parents died in a plane crash when she was 5, and she was raised by an uncle who didn't care much about her. She wanted to be a novelist, so she spent high school working to save enough money for a college with a good creative writing program. Then, her uncle got cancer. She had to quit school her senior year to take care of him. After she died, she was left with no money, no family, and no diploma. The only good break she ever got was meeting my dad. I don't have any memories of him, just this sort of warm glow. Maybe the barest trace of his smile. My mom doesn't like to talk about him because it makes her sad. She has no pictures. See, they weren't married. She told me he was rich and important, and their relationship was a secret. Then one day, he said sail across the Atlantic on some important journey, and he never came back. Lost at sea, my mom told me. Not dead, lost at sea. She worked odd jobs, took night classes to get her high school diploma, and raised me on her own. She never complained or got mad, not even once. But I knew I wasn't an easy kid. Sally is a Chad, clearly. Finally, she married Gabe Ugliano, who was nice the first 30 seconds we knew him. Then, he showed his true colors as a world-class jerk. When I was young, I nicknamed him Smelly Gabe. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. The guy reeked like moldy garlic pizza, wrapped in gym shorts. Between the two of us, he made my mom's life pretty hard. The way Smelly Gabe treated her, the way he and I got along, well, when I came home is a good example. I walked into our little apartment, hoping my mom would be at home from work. Instead, Smelly Gabe was in the living room, playing poker with his buddies. The television blared ESPN. Chips and beer cans were strewn all over the carpet. Hardly looking up, he said around his cigar. "So you're home? Where's my mom?" "Working," he said. "You got any cash?" That was it. "No, welcome back. Good to see you. How was your life? How was your life been the last 6 months?" Gabe had put on weight. He looked like a tuskless walrus in a thrift store. His clothes. He had about 3 hairs on his head, and all combed over his bald scalp, as if that made him handsome or something. He managed the electronics megamart in Queens, but he stayed home most of the time. I don't know why he hadn't been fired long before. He just kept on collecting paychecks, spending the money in cigars that made me nauseous, and on beer, of course. Always beer. Whenever I was home, he threatened me to provide his gambling funds. He called that our guy secret. That's so lame. What a loser. And if I told my mom, he would punch my lights out. "I don't have any cash," I told him. He raised a greasy eyebrow. Gabe could sniff out money like a bloodhound, which is surprising. His own smell should have covered up everything else. That's great. "We took a taxi from the bus station," he said. "Probably paid with a 20. He said, "Probably paid with a 20. Got $6-7 in change. Somebody expects me to live under this roof. He ought to carry his own weight. Am I right, Eddie?" Who the fuck is Eddie? Eddie, the super of the apartment building, looked at me with a twinge of sympathy. "Come on, Gabe," he said. "The kid just got here." Hold on. I think I missed that. Guy's secret, punch lights out, I don't have cash. Gave me some money. We took a taxi to the bus station, he said. I paid with a 20, got $6-7 in the change. Wow, this man can do math. I need to stop letting my brain read things for me and actually read them. Which probably doesn't make any sense to you, but like, trust me, it's an issue. It's a real struggle of an issue. The kid just got here. Am I right? Gabe repeated. Eddie scrolled into his bowl of pretzels. The other two guys passed gas in harmony. Fine, I said. I took a wad of dollars out of my pocket and threw the money on the table. I hope you lose. The report card came home, brain boy. He shouted after me. I wouldn't act so snooty. Do you read this report card, Gabe? For what reason? I don't think you, like, give a shit about him, right? Doesn't sound like you do. Okay. Okay, yeah. I slammed the door to my room, which really wasn't my room. During school months, it was Gabe's study. He didn't study anything in there except old car magazines, but he loved shoving my stuff in the closet, leaving his muddy boots on my windowsill. I've never seen that word spelled out before. Okay. And doing his best to make the place smell like his nasty cologne, cigars, and stale beer. I dropped my suitcase on the bed. Wait, what's this chapter called again? I accidentally farted on my stepdad. Grover is going to lose his pants. That's the one. I wasn't close to guessing. Nasty cologne, cigars, stale beer. Okay, gotcha. I dropped my suitcase on the bed. Home sweet home. Gabe's smell was almost worse than the nightmares about Miss Dodds, or the sound of that old fruit lady's shear snipping the yarn. But as soon as I thought that, my legs felt weak. I remembered Grover's look of panic and how he made me promise I wouldn't go home without him. A sudden chill rolled through me. I felt like something was looking for me right now. Maybe pounding its way up the stairs, going long, horrible talons. Then I heard my mom's voice. Percy! She opened the bedroom door and my fears melted. My mother can make me feel good just by walking into the room. We love a great mother. Let's go. Her eyes sparkle and change color in the light. Her smile is as warm as a quilt. She's got a few gray streaks mixed in with her long brown hair, but I never think of her as old. When she looks at me, it's like she's seeing all the good things about me, none of the bad. I never heard her raise her voice or say an unkind word to anyone, not even me or Gabe. Oh, Percy, she hugged me tight. I can't believe it. You've grown since Christmas. Her red, white, and blue sweet America uniform smelled like the best things in the world. Chocolate, licorice, and all the other stuff. She sold at the candy shop in Grand Central. She brought me a huge bag of free samples, the way she always did when I came home. We sat together on the edge of the bed. While I attacked the blueberry sour strings, she ran her hands through my hair and demanded to know everything I had to put in my letters. She didn't mention anything about my getting expelled. She didn't seem to care about that. But was I okay? Was her little boy doing all right? I don't know. Was her little boy doing all right? I don't let us know. I told her she was smothering me and to lay off and all that, but secretly I was really, really glad to see her. I bet you were. Sounds like you love your mom a lot, Perce. From the other room, Gabe yelled, "Hey, Sally! How about some bean dip, huh? Bean dip is fire, actually. You know, that's a good idea. I might get some bean dip too." I gritted my teeth. My mom is the nicest lady in the world. She should have been married to a millionaire, not some jerk like Gabe. For her sake, I tried to sound upbeat about my last days at Yancey Academy. I told her I wasn't too down about the expulsion. I'd last almost a whole year this time. I'd made some new friends. I'd done pretty well in Latin, and honestly, the fights hadn't been as bad as the headmaster said. I liked Yancey Academy. I really did. I put such a good spin on the year. I almost convinced myself. I started choking up, thinking about Grover and Mr. Brunner. Even Nancy Bobafett suddenly didn't seem so bad, until that trip to the museum. What? My mom asked. Her eyes tugged at my conscience, trying to pull out the secrets. Did something scare you? No, Mom. I felt bad lying. I wanted to tell her about Miss Dodds and about the three old ladies with the yarn, but I thought I thought it would sound stupid. She pursed her lips. She knew I was holding back, but she didn't. But she what's the wrong word? But she didn't push me. I have a surprise for you, she said. We're going to the beach. My eyes widened. Montauk? Whoa, the place with Stranger Things? The original Stranger Things place. Why is my nose so itchy? I hate that. Anyways. 3 nights, same cabin? 3 nights, same cabin. When? She smiled. As soon as I get change. I couldn't believe it. My mom and I had been to Montauk the last 2 summers because Gabe said there wasn't enough money. Gabe appeared in the doorway and growled, "Bean dip, Sally! Didn't you hear me?" Yeah, didn't you hear him? Bean dip. Pronto, Sally. Get to it. Chop, chop. I wanted to punch him, but I met my mom's eyes. I understood she was offering me a deal. Be nice to Gabe for a little while, just until she was ready to leave for Montauk. Then we would get out of here. I was on my way, honey. She told Gabe. We were just talking about the trip. Gabe's eyes got small. The trip? You mean you were serious about that? I knew it, I muttered. He won't let us go. Of course he will. My mom said evenly. Your stepfather's just worried about money, that's all. Besides, she added, Gabriel won't have to settle for bean dip. Gabriel won't have to settle for bean dip. I'll make him enough 7-layer dip for the whole weekend. Guacamole, sour cream, the works. Gabe softened a bit. So there's money for your trip. It comes out of your clothes budget, right? Yes, honey, my mother said. And you won't take my car anywhere, but there and back. We'll be very careful. Gabe scratched his double chin. Maybe if you hurry with that 7-layer dip, and maybe if the kid apologizes for interrupting my poker game, maybe I kick you in your soft spot. I thought maybe it'd make you sing soprano for a week. Do it, Percy. Beat his ass. Beat his ass. My mom's eyes warned me not to make him mad. Why did she put up with this guy? I wanted to scream. But what am I talking about? Why did she care what why did she care what he thought? I'm sorry, I muttered. I'm really sorry I interrupted your incredibly important poker game. I'm sorry I interrupted your incredibly important poker game. Please go back to it right now. Gabe's eyes narrowed. His tiny brain was probably trying to detect sarcasm in my statement. Yeah, whatever, he decided. He went back to his game. Thank you, Percy, my mom said. Once we get to Montauk, we'll talk more about whatever you forgot to tell me, okay? For a moment, I thought I saw anxiety in her eyes, the same fear I'd seen in Grover. During the bus ride, as if my mom felt an odd chill in the air, but then her smile returned, and I figured I must have been mistaken. She ruffled my hair and went to make Gabe a 7-layer dip. An hour later, we were ready to leave. Let's go. Montauk, baby! Let's go! This book is now floating open. It's so sad. It'll never close perfectly again. This is so sad. An hour later, we were ready to leave. Gabe took a break from his poker game long enough to watch me, my mom, to watch me lug my mom's bag to the car. He kept gripping and groaning about losing her cooking, and more important, his '78 Camaro for the whole weekend. Not a scratch on this car, brain boy. Not a scratch on this car, brain boy. He warned me. What the fuck, brain? Do reading. He warned me as I loaded the last bag. There we go. Not one little scratch. I could be the one driving. I was 12. That didn't matter to Gabe. If a seagull so much as pooped on his paint job, he'd find a way to blame me. Watching him lumber back toward the apartment building, I got so mad I did something I can't explain. As Gabe reached the doorbell, I made the hand gesture I'd seen Grover make on the bus. A sort of warding off evil gesture. A clawed hand over his heart, then a shoving movement toward Gabe. Is he doing keto? Was he like, is that what he's doing? The screen door slammed shut so hard it whacked him in the butt, sent him flying up the staircase. Whoa! As if he'd been shot from a cannon. Maybe it was just the wind or some freak accident with the hinges, but I didn't stay long enough to find out. I got in the Camaro and told my mom to step on it. Fucking book it! Hado. The thing from Bleach. Did I say Keto? I meant Hado. Or the Force. Like I don't know. That's what I picture. Our rental cabin was on the South Shore, way out of the tip of Long Island. It was a little pastel box with faded curtains, half sunken into the dunes. There was always sand in the sheets and spiders in the cabinets, and most of the time the sea was too cold to swim in. I love the place. We've been going there since I was a baby. My mom had been going even longer. She never exactly said, but I knew why the beach was special to her. It was the place where she met my dad. As we got closer to Montauk, she seemed to grow younger. Years of worry and work disappeared from her face. Her eyes turned the color of the sea. We got there at sunset, opened all the cabin windows, and went through our usual cleaning routine. We walked on the beach, fed blue corn chips to the seagulls, and munched on blue jelly beans, blue saltwater taffy, and all other free samples my mom had brought from work. I guess I should explain the blue food. I know about the blue food too, right? She does it to like fuck with Gabe or something, right? Is that what it is? See, Gabe had once told my mother there was no such thing. They had this fight, which seemed like a really small thing at the time. But ever since my mom went out of her way to eat blue. She baked blue birthday cakes. She mixed blueberry smoothies. She bought blue corn tortilla chips and brought home blue candy from the shop. This, along with keeping her maiden name Jackson rather than calling herself Miss Ugliano, was proof that she wasn't totally suckered by Gabe. She'd have a rebellious streak, like me. Let's go. God, my mouth is hurting really bad. This might be the last chapter I read today. The roof of my mouth is hurting really fucking bad. Jesus Christ. When it got dark, we made a fire. We roasted hot dogs and marshmallows. Mom told me stories about when she was a kid. Back before her parents died in the plane crash, she told me about the books she wanted to write someday. And when she had enough money to quit the candy shop, eventually I got up the nerve to ask about what was always on my mind. Whenever we came to Montauk, my father, what brain? Where did I go? Where are the words that I was looking for? Okay. When it got dark, we made a fire. We roasted hot dogs and marshmallows. Mom told me stories about when she was a kid, back before her parents died in the plane crash. She told me about the books she wanted to write someday, and when she had enough money to quit the candy shop. Eventually, I got up the nerve to ask about what was always on my mind whenever we came to Montauk, my father. Mom's eyes went all misty. I figured she would tell me the same thing. She always did, but I never got tired of hearing them. He was kind, Percy, she said. Tall, handsome, and powerful, but gentle too. You have his black hair, you know, and his green eyes. Apparently not. Apparently, he has blonde hair. According to the trailer, I know things book. Don't try to fool me. Mom fished a blue jelly bean out of her candy bag. I wish you could see you, Percy. You'd be so proud. I wondered how she could say that. What's so great about me? A dyslexic, hyperactive boy with a D+ report card. D+ stands for... Yeah, I have nothing creative right there. I'm just gonna keep on reading. Card. Kicked out of school for the 6th time in 6 years. How old was I? I asked. I mean, when he left. She watched the flames. He was only with me for 1 summer, Percy. Right here at this beach, this cabin. But he knew me as a baby? No, honey. He knew I was expecting a baby. We never saw you. He had to leave before you were born. I tried to square with the fact that I seemed to remember something about my father. A warm glow. A smile. I had always assumed he knew me as a baby. My mom had never said it outright. But still, I felt it must be true. Now to be told that he had never seen me, I felt angry at my father. Maybe it was stupid, but I resented him for going on that ocean voyage, for not... Hold on. Okay, that's happening. Just that annoyed me a little bit. How low that was. Jesus Christ. Ocean voyage. Where is it? Where are the words ocean voyage? I always maybe as a baby. Felt angry. Ocean voyage. For not having the guts to marry my mom. He left us, and now we were stuck with smelly Gabe. Are you going to send me away again? I asked her to another boarding school. She pulled a marshmallow from the fire. I don't know, honey. Her voice was heavy. I think we'll have to do something. Because you don't want me around. I regretted the words as soon as they were out. My mom's eyes welled with tears. She took my hand, squeezed it tight. Oh, Percy, no. I have to, honey. For your own good. I have to send you away. Her words reminded me of what Mr. Brunner had said. That it was best for me to leave Yancey, because I'm not normal. I said, you say that if it's a bad thing, Percy, but you don't realize how important you are. I thought Yancey Academy would be far enough away. I thought you'd finally be safe. Safe from what? Safe from what, Mom? Safe from what? Stop it with the what is it? The secrecy. Tell me. She met my eyes, and a flood of memories came back to me, and all the weird, scary things that had never happened to me. Some of which I tried to forget during third grade. A man in a black trench coat had stalked me on the playground. When the teacher threatened to call the police, he went away growling, but no one believed me when I told them that under his broad-brimmed hat, the man had only one eye, right in the middle of his head. Yo, Cyclops. Before that, a really early memory. I was in preschool, and the teacher accidentally put me down for a nap. In a cot that had a snake had slithered into. My mom screamed when she came to pick me up and found me playing with a limp, scaly rope. I somehow managed to strangle to death with my meaty toddler hand. Let's go! Toddler kills snake. I love toddler snake murder in my books. It's my favorite part. In every single school, something creepy had happened. Something unsafe. And I was forced to move. I knew I should tell my mom about the old lady at the fruit stand and Miss Dodds at the art museum about my weird hallucination that I had sliced my math teacher into dust with a sword, but I couldn't make myself tell her. I had strange feelings. The news would end her trip to Montauk, and I didn't want that. I've tried to keep you as close to me as I could, my mom said. They told me that was a mistake. There's only one other option, Percy. The place your father wanted to send you. And I just couldn't stand to do it. My father wanted me to go to a special school? Not a school, she said softly. A summer camp. My head was spinning. Why would my dad, who hadn't even stayed long enough to see me born, talk to my mom about a summer camp? And if it was so important, why hadn't she never mentioned it before? I'm sorry, Percy, she said. I'm seeing the look in my eyes, but I can't talk about it. I couldn't send you to that place. It might mean saying goodbye to you for good. But if it's only a summer camp, she turned toward the fire, and I knew from her expression that if I asked her any more questions, she would start to cry. That night I had a vivid dream. We were storming on the beach, and two beautiful animals and a white horse and golden eel were trying to kill each other at the edge of the surf. The eagle swooped down and slashed the horse's muzzle with its huge talons. The horse reared up and kicked at the eagle's wings. As they fought, the ground rumbled, and a monstrous voice Chuck led somewhere beneath it. A monstrous voice, Chuck, led somewhere beneath the voice. I don't know what that means. Chuckled. Chuck led. I did not just attempt to read chuckled as Chuck led 3 times. Wow. I'm a fucking genius. Certified genius. Anyways, where's Chuck led? Oh, there it is. Somewhere beneath the earth, goading the animals to fight harder. I ran toward them, knowing I had to stop them from killing each other. But I was running in slow motion. I knew I would be too late. I saw the eagle dive down, its beak aimed at the horse's wide eyes, and they screamed, "No!" I woke with a start. Outside, it really was storming, the kind of storm that cracks trees and blows down houses. There was no horse or eagle on the beach, just lightning making false daylight, and 20-foot waves pounding the dunes like artillery. Oh shit. With the next thunderclap, my mom woke. She sat up, eyes wide, and said, "Hurricane?" Oh, no, she's not. This is a confident hurricane. Hurricane! There we go. I knew that was crazy. Long Island never sees hurricanes this early in the summer. But the ocean seemed to have forgotten. Over the roar of the wind, I heard a distant bellow, an angry, tortured sound that made my hair stand on end. Then a much closer noise, like mouths in the sand. A desperate voice, someone yelled, pounding on our cabin door. My mother sprang out of the bed in her nightgown and threw open the lock. Grover stood framed in the doorway against the backdrop of pouring rain. But he wasn't exactly Grover. Whoa. Grover's just there? He just appears? Hold on. Grover, my guy. Where have you been this whole time? Wait, hold on. Okay. Then a much closer noise, like mouths in the sand, a desperate voice, someone yelled, pounding the sand. Mother sprang out of her bed in her nightgown and threw open the lock. Grover stood framed in the doorway against a backdrop of pouring rain. Grover, he wasn't exactly Grover. Searching all night, he gasped, "What were you thinking?" My mother looked at me in terror, not scared of Grover, but of why he'd come. "Percy," she said, shouting to be heard over the rain. What happened at school? What didn't you tell me?" I was frozen, looking at Grover. I couldn't understand what I was seeing. "Oh, Z Kai Alo Theoe." What? What are you saying? He yelled. "It's right behind me. Didn't you tell her?" I was too shocked to register that he just cursed in ancient Greek. What? Is that what that is? "Oh, Z Kai Alo." That's a long-ass curse word. And I understood him perfectly. I was too shocked to wonder how Grover had gotten here by himself in the middle of the night, because Grover didn't have his pants on. And where his legs should be, where his legs should be, my mom looked at me sternly and talked in a tone she never used before. "Percy, tell me now." I stammered something about the old ladies at the fruit stand and Miss Dodds. My mom stared at me, her face deathly pale in the flashes of lightning. She grabbed her purse, tossed me my rain jacket, and said, "Go to the car. Both of you, go." Grover ran for the Camaro, but wasn't running exactly. He was trotting, shaking his shaggy hindquarters, and suddenly his story about a muscular disorder in his legs made sense to me. I understood how he could run so fast and still limp when he walked, because where his feet should be, there were no feet, there were cloven hooves. That is the first we see of Pantsless Grover, or Reed, I guess, because this isn't a movie or a TV show, it's a book. Alright, how long is the next chapter? My mother teaches me bullfighting. How long is that one? Let's see. To Haley, who heard the story first. It's 44 to 57. That's 16 pages. Yeah, I think, okay, we've been streaming for about an hour and a half. And my throat hurts quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So, I will probably, actually I think I'm definitely gonna have to continue this next stream. I'm quite enjoying this, actually. I'm enjoying this quite a bit. So far, this is really, I haven't read a book in a while, but it's a really interesting read. Obviously, a lot of the stuff has changed from the movies. They spend a lot more time, because obviously the book, right? They spend a lot more time talking about Percy at school, and usually in the movies, like in the first 5 minutes, he gets attacked and they run, and then it's like the whole thing. But no, Sally takes him somewhere, and Poseidon told him about Camp Half-Blood or whatever, and like it was and it was like a, it's a lot more I don't know, it's just a lot more. Like, I don't really, like I said, I don't really read books too often. I'm trying to get back into reading books. Hopefully Percy Jackson will do that for me. But like, I never like watched the movie and then read the books, and I'm really curious, especially about like things like Harry Potter, so like what they cut out about that. But there was a lot of stuff that was like a lot more of like building around the characters that I appreciate. Percy with his little personality, a little sassy self, and building out Sally's mom with the blue food, which I really like. I think is cool, but nothing too incredibly new. Just kind of an elongated first scene of the movie, which isn't a bad thing. I'm gonna be comparing this to the movie a lot. This is the only thing I've ever seen of Percy Jackson, but it's definitely really cool. I'm really interested, and Grover is a lot different. He's a little scaredy cat. In the movie, he's got a lot of swagger, very confident. But also, these people are terrible at keeping secrets. They're the worst at it. They're always saying really weird, ominous things like, why does it always have to be 6th grade? Why does it always have to be 6th grade? Like, how old is Grover? Have you gone through multiple 6th graders? That's a really weird sentence. But have you gotten multiple 6th graders killed? Is that why you're so scared? I'm interested to know about that as well. So hopefully we'll see. Definitely, I will be doing a read stream next Friday. I don't know about earlier than that. If I got time and I feel like it, I definitely will. I probably will have time because I don't do much. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So, do I have any other thoughts about the chapter? We don't really know too much. So I don't really have too much to talk about. I like the ominous foreshadowing of all the creepy monsters that have like come from in the past and whatnot, and like that fight in the, I can't even call it a fight. That encounter in the first chapter is still really confusing to me, but I have a feeling it's supposed to be. Right? I have a feeling like I'm supposed to like have read the first chapter and then been like, what is going on right now? And then we get a lot of slowing it down with the friend and those weird old ladies who are like, everybody's trying to kill Percy apparently, or it's like maybe not kill him, maybe they want, I don't know, but everybody's coming after him. So I'm excited to see what happens next. I don't know. Do I want to read more? Because I kind of feel like reading more, but also my mouth hurts quite a bit. It's like 16 chapters. Oh my god. Jay, you joined again with your 3 accounts? My friend, I don't know. I feel like I might end the stream soon. Should I end the stream soon? What do you guys think? Should I end the stream soon or should I read this next chapter? That is the question. Because if I read this next chapter, it'll be the last one. End the stream, you say? Quickest minute of my life, for real? Probably not your quickest. Probably had a quicker one in bed. Well, I guess nobody wants me to keep reading. I kind of want to keep reading, though. Damn. Because I kind of know vaguely what happens because, like, the bullfighting and whatnot, so I think something cool is about to happen. Not that it hasn't been cool so far. It's just been, like, kind of slow, building out the world, which is pretty cool. Bro, it takes me 30 minutes to an hour to fall asleep. Why does it take you so long? You might need to start, I don't know, sleeping better, my friend. It should not take you that long to fall asleep. Right now, I'm trying to convince myself to read one more chapter. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment. Okay, then read one more chapter. I don't really care. Alright. Yeah, I guess why the hell not? My mouth already hurts. Whatever. One more chapter. I'm quite enjoying this so far. Damn. Am I gonna end up reading the whole book before the series? comes out, I got a lot of time. I might end up doing it. YouTube for real complaining about my ad block. I don't give a fuck. Does YouTube know you have ad block on? Is that a thing YouTube's capable of knowing? Alright. The fourth and final chapter for the day. My mother teaches me bullfighting. Okay. We tore through the night along dark country roads. Wind slammed through the Camaro. Rain lashed the windshield. I didn't know how my mom could see anything, but she kept her foot on the gas. Every time there was a flash of lightning, I looked at Grover sitting next to me in the back seat, and I wondered if I'd gone insane, or if he was wearing some kind of shag carpet pants. But no. What the hell? Brain do work. How did I lose the words that fast? Wearing some kind of shag carpet pants. But no, this smell was one I remembered from kindergarten. Field trips to the petting zoo. Lanolin, like from wool. Zulanolin? I don't know what that word is. Like from wool. Smell of wet barnyard animal. All I could think to say was, so you and my mom know each other? YouTube is trying to stop ad block without stopping ad block because YouTube will get canceled if they completely disable ad block. Fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense actually. And Grover's eyes flittered to the rearview mirror. Though there were no cars behind us, not exactly, he said. I mean, we've never met in person, but she knew I was watching you. Watching me? Keeping tabs on you, making sure you were okay. But I wasn't faking being your friend, he said hastily. I am your friend. What are you exactly? That doesn't matter right now. This is as good a time as any to tell him, Grover, my friend. It doesn't matter. From the waist down, my best friend is a donkey. Grover let out a sharp, throaty blah ha ha. Blah. Is that a goat? Blah? Is that what that is? Blah. I'd heard him make that sound before, but I'd always assumed it was a nervous laugh. Now I realized it was more of an irritated, bleat. Goat, he cried. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Yes? Hello? Yes. Yeah. Goat, he cried. What? I'm a goat. From the waist down. You just said it didn't matter. Blah. There are satyrs who would trample you underhoof for such an insult. What? For calling him a donkey? Oh wait, satyrs? You mean like Mr. Bruner's myths? Were those ladies at the fruit stand a myth, Percy? Was Miss Dodds a myth? So you admit there was a Miss Dodds? Of course. Then what? The less you knew, the fewer monsters you'd attract. Grover said. That should be perfectly obvious. We put mist over the human's eyes. We'd hope you'd think the kindly one was a hallucination, but it was no good. You started to realize who you are. Wait a minute. What do you mean? The weird bellowing noise rose up again. Somewhere behind us, closer than before. Whatever was chasing us was still on our trail. Percy, my mom said, there's too much to explain, and not enough time. We have to get you to. We have to get you to safety. Safety from what? Who's after me? Nobody. Oh, nobody much. Grover said, obviously still mad about the donkey comment. Oh, was he mad about that? You called a donkey? How are you supposed to know that you were a goat? Why would any reasonable person guess goat? As long as there are many other things that I would guess before calling him a goat. Just the Lord of the Dead and a few of his bloodthirstiest minions. What? Grover! Sorry, Miss Jackson. Could you drive faster, please? I tried to wrap my mind around what was happening, but I couldn't do it. I knew this wasn't a dream. I had no imagination. I could never dream of something this weird. My mom made a hard left. We swerved into a narrow road, racing past darkened farmhouses and wooded hills, and pick your own strawberry signs on white picket fences. Where are you going? I asked. The summer camp I told you about. My mother's voice was tight. She was trying for my sake not to be scared. Was your father wanted to send you? The place you didn't want me to go? Please, dear, my mother begged. This is hard enough. Try to understand you're in danger. Because some old ladies cut yarn? Those weren't old ladies, Grover said. Those were the Fates. What? Do you know what it means? The fact they appeared in front of you? They only do that when when someone's about to die. What? 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 Whoa! You said you? No, I didn't. I said someone. You meant you as in me? I meant you like someone, not you. Boys, my mom said. She pulled the wheel hard to the right, and I got a glimpse of a figure. She swerved to avoid a dark, fluttering shape, now lost behind us in the storm. What was that? I asked. We're almost there, my mother said, ignoring my questions. Another mile, please. 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 I didn't know where there was, but I found myself leaning forward in the car, anticipating wanting us to arrive. Outside, nothing but rain and darkness. The kind of empty countryside you get way out on the brain. Brain, do words, brain. You get way out on the tip of Long Island. I thought about Miss Dodds in the moment when she changed into the thing with pointed teeth and leathery wings. My limbs went numb from delayed shock. She really hadn't been human. She'd meant to kill me. Then I thought about Mr. Brunner and the sword he had thrown me. Before I could ask Grover about that, the hair rose on the back of my neck. It was a blinding flash, jaw-rattling boom, and the car exploded. What? Oh, end of book? Is he dead? End of story? I remember feeling weightless, like I was being crushed, fried and hosed down all at the same time. I peeled my forehead back off the back of the driver's seat and said, "Ow!" "Percy!" my mom shouted. "I'm okay." I tried to shake off the daze. I wasn't dead. The car hadn't really exploded. We'd swerved into a ditch. Our driver's side, our driver's side doors were wedged in the mud. The roof had cracked open like an eggshell, and the rain was pouring in. The lightning that was the only explanation. We'd been blasted right off the road. Next to me in the back seat was a big motionless lump. Grover, he was slumped over. Blood trickled from the side of his mouth. I shook his furry hip, thinking, "No, even if you are half barnyard animal, it's my best friend, and I don't want you to die." Normal Speed Elysium, I'd say next chapter. Oh, sorry, man, I missed your comment a while ago. I think your stream is behind. Oh, okay. So he said that just recently. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm just realizing it. Well, oh damn. Well, anyways, whenever you see this, my guy, nice to have you in the stream. Normal Spirit Elysium. My bad, I read that wrong. Okay, where am I going? What? Brain, don't do this to me every time. Percy, my mom, we'd have to. Her voice. What the fuck? Okay, I was looking at the wrong page. Driver's door wedged in the mud. The roof had cracked open like an eggshell and the rain was pouring in. Lightning was the only explanation. We blasted off the road. Next to me in the back seat was a big motionless lump. Grover! He was slumped over. Blood trickled from the side of his mouth. I shook his furry hip, thinking, "No, even if you are half barnyard animal, you're my best friend, and I don't want you to die." Then he groaned, "Food," and I knew there was hope. "Percy," my mother said, "we have to." Her voice faltered. I looked back in a flash of lightning. Through the mud's spattered rear windshield, I saw a figure lumbering toward us on the shoulder of the road. The sight of it made my skin crawl. It was a dark silhouette of a huge guy, like a football player. He seemed to be holding a blanket over his head. His top half was bulky and fuzzy. His upraised hands made it look like he had horns. I swallowed hard. Who is Percy? My mother said, deadly serious. Get out of the car! My mom threw herself against the driver's side door. It was jammed shut in the mud. I tried mine, stuck too. I tried mine, stuck too. Fuck. Read better. What? Bear with me. I'm sorry. My brain and reading don't mix sometimes. It might have been an exit, but the edges were sizzling and smoking. Climb out the passenger side, my mother told me. Percy, you have to run. Do you see the big trees? What? Another flash of lightning and through the smoking hole in the roof. I saw the tree she meant. A huge white house. A huge white house, Christmas tree size, pine at the crest of the nearest hill. That's the property line, my mom said. Get over that hill and you'll see a big farmhouse down the valley. Run and don't look back. Yell for help. What's happened until you reach the door? Mom, you're coming too. Her face was pale. Her eyes as sad as when she looked at the ocean. No, I shouted. You are coming with me. Help me carry Grover. Food, Grover moaned a little low. Grover, you're fucking useless, my guy. There's no way you got knocked out from that shit. Trash. The man with the blanket on his head kept coming toward us, making his grunting, snorting noises. As he got closer, I realized he couldn't be holding a blanket over his head. Because his hands, huge, meaty hands, were swinging at his sides. There was no blanket, meaning the bulky, fuzzy mass that was too big to be his head was his head. And the points that looked like horns. He doesn't want us, my mother told me. He wants you. Besides, I can't cross the property line. But we don't have time, Percy. Go, please. I got mad. I got mad. The mad-eyed mother at Grover, the goat, and at the thing with horns that was lumbering toward us, and slowly, deliberately, like a bull. I climbed across Grover and pushed the door open into the rain. We're going together. Come on, Mom. I told you. Mom, I'm not leaving you. Help me with Grover. I didn't wait for her answer. I scrambled outside, dragging Grover from the car. He was surprisingly light, but I couldn't have carried him very far if my mom hadn't come to my aid. Together we draped Grover's arms over our shoulders and started stumbling uphill through wet, waist-high grass. Glancing back, I got my first clear look at the monster. He was 7 feet tall. Easy. His arms and legs like something from the cover of Muscle Man magazine. Bulging biceps and triceps and a bunch of other ceps. all stuff like baseball under his vein-webbed skin. He wore no clothes. Except underwear. I mean, bright white Fruit of the Loom, which would have looked funny, except at the top of his body was so scary. Coarse brown hair stared at about his belly button, and got thicker as it reached his shoulders. His neck was a mass of muscle and fur, leading up to his enormous head, which had a snout as long as my arm, snotty nostrils with a gleaming brass ring, cool black eyes and horns, enormous black and white horns with points you just couldn't get from an electric sharpener. Whoa, what? What are you talking about? His neck was a mass of fur that leaning black, which had a snout as long as my arm, snotty nostrils with a gleaming brass ring, cruel black eyes and horns, enormous black and white horns with points this is a joke. Okay, you couldn't get from an electric sharpener. Okay, I recognized the monster, all right. He had been in one of the first stories Mr. Bruder told us, but he couldn't be real. I blinked the rain out of my eyes. That's Pasiphae's son. What? Pasiphae's son? My mother said. I wish I'd known how badly they want to kill you. But he's the Don't say his name, she warned. Names have power. What? What? Oh wait, I'm confused. I'm so confused. Is he a Voldemort? I think he's a Voldemort. I don't know. The pine trees was still way too far. What do you mean Pisceface, son? I'm so confused. 100 yards uphill at least. I glanced behind me again. The bull man hunched over our car, looking in the windows, or not looking exactly. More like snuffling, nuzzling. I wasn't sure why he bothered, since we were only about 50 feet away. Food, Grover moaned. Shut the fuck up, Grover. Get your ass up. Shh, I told him. Mom, what's he doing? Doesn't he see us? His sight and hearing are terrible, she said. He goes by smell, but he'll figure out where we are soon enough. As if on cue, the bull man bellowed in rage. He picked up Gabe's Camaro by the torn roof, and chassis creaking and groaning. He raised the car over his head and threw it down the road, sent into the wet asphalt, and skidded in a shower of sparks for about half a mile. Before coming to the stop, the gas tank exploded. Not a scratch, I remember Gabe saying. Oops. Oh damn. Cars exploded. Oops. Percy, my mom said, when he sees us, he'll charge. Wait until the last second, then jump out of the way directly sideways. He can't change directions very well once he's charging. Do you understand? How do you know all this? I've been worried about an attack for a long time. I should have expected this. I was selfish keeping you near me. Oh damn. The mother does really teach him bullfighting. Let's go. Keeping me near you, but... Another bellow of rage, and the bullman started tromping uphill. He'd smelled us. The pine tree was only a few more yards, but the hill was getting steeper and slicker, and Grover wasn't getting any lighter. The bullman closed in. Another few seconds, and he'd be on top of us. My mother must have been exhausted, but she shouldered Grover. Go, Percy! Separate! Remember what I said! I didn't want to split up, but I had the feeling she was right. It was our only chance. I sprinted to the left, turned and saw the creature bearing down on me. His black eyes glowed with hate. He reeked like rotten meat. He lowered his head and charged those razor-sharp horns, aimed straight at my chest. The fear in my stomach made me want to bolt, but that wouldn't work. I could never outrun this thing, so I held my ground, and at the last moment, I jumped to the side. The bullman stormed past like a freight train, and then bellowed with frustration and turned, but not toward me this time, toward my mother, who was setting Grover down in the grass. What? I thought he only wanted you. I forgot how much tension this book had. Yeah, it has quite a bit. Where the hell was I? These black eyes, go Percy separate. Remember what I said. I didn't want to split up. The fear in my stomach. Maybe want to bolt, but that wouldn't work. It could never outrun this thing, so I held my ground at the last moment. I jumped to the side. The bullman stormed past like a freight train, and then bellowed with frustration and turned, but not toward me this time, toward my mother, who was setting Grover down in the grass. We'd reached the crest of the bull. Down the other side, I could see a valley, just as my mother had said, and the lights of a farmhouse, glowing yellow through the rain. But that was half a mile away. We'd never make it. The bullman grunted, pawing the ground. He kept eyeing my mother, who was now retreating slowly downhill, back toward the road, trying to lead the monster away from Grover. Run, Percy, she told me. I can't go any farther. Run! But I just stood there, frozen in fear. As the monster charged her, she tried to sidestep, as she told me to do. As she told me to do. But the monster had learned his lesson. His hand shot out and grabbed her by the neck. As he tried to get away, he lifted her as she struggled, kicking and pummeling the air. Mom? She caught my eyes, meant to choke out one last word. Go! Then with an angry roar, the monster closed his fist around my mother's neck, and she dissolved before my eyes. Whoa. Melting to light, a shimmering golden form, as if she were a holographic projection. Is that like how Miss Dodge disappeared? A blinding flash, and she was simply gone. No. Anger. No! That's probably more like it. No! You know? Anger replaced my fear. Newfound strength burned in my limbs. The same rush of energy I'd gotten when Miss Dodds grew talons. The bull man bore down on Grover, who lay helpless in the grass. The monster hunched over, snuffling my best friend as if he were about to lift Grover up and make him dissolve too. I couldn't allow that. I stripped off my red rain jacket. Hey! I screamed, waving the jacket, running to one side of the monster. Hey, stupid! Ground beef! Roar! The monster turned toward me, shaking his meaty fists. I had an idea. A stupid idea, but better than no idea at all. I put my jacket on the big pine tree, waved my red jacket in front of the bullman, thinking I'd jump out of the way at the last moment, but it didn't happen like that. The bullman charged too fast, his arms out to grab me. Whichever way I tried to dodge, time slowed down. Ooh. Give me just like 10 seconds. My mouth hurts really bad. I need to grab a second bottle of water. I finished the first one. Okay. Quick. Let's drink this and let us continue with this epic Minotaur fight. Headphones so I can hear the music. What? Okay. Let's see how quickly I can find where the hell my place was. Time slowed down quite quickly. My legs tensed. I couldn't jump sideways, so I leaped straight up, kicking off from the creature's head, using it as a springboard, turning in midair and landing on his neck. Oh, let's go! How did I do that? I didn't have time to figure it out. A millisecond later, the monster's head slammed into the tree, and the impact nearly knocked my teeth out. The bullman staggered around, trying to shake me. I locked my arms around his horns to keep from being thrown. Thunder and lightning were still going strong. The rain was in my eyes. The smell of rotten meat burned my nostrils. The monster shook himself around and bucked like a rodeo bull. He should have just backed up into the tree and smashed me flat. But I was starting to realize that this thing had only one gear, forward. Okay. Monster shook himself around and bucked like a rodeo bull, and he should. Okay. Wait, where are they again? I'm kind of lost in this fight. He did the cool thing, trying to. The woman started. Okay. Oh, okay. He can't go. Okay, I get it. Meanwhile, Grover started groaning in the grass. I wanted to yell at him to shut up, but the way I was getting tossed around, if I opened my mouth, I'd bite my own tongue off. Food! Grover moaned. The bull man wheeled toward him, pawed the ground again, and got ready to charge. I thought about how he had squeezed the life out of my mother, made her disappear in a flash of light, and rage filled me like a high-octane fuel. I got both hands around one horn, and I pulled backward with all my might. The monster tensed and gave a surprised grunt, then snap! The bullman screamed and flung me through the air. I landed flat on my back in grass. My head smacked against a rock. When I sat up, my vision was blurry, but I had a horn in my hands. A ragged bone weapon the size of my knife. He ripped off this bull's horns. Let's go. Okay. Without thinking, I rolled to one side and came up kneeling. As the monster barreled past, I drove the broken horn straight into his side, right up under his furry rib cage. The bullman roared in agony. He flailed, clawing at his chest, then began to disintegrate. Not like my mother, in a flash of golden light, but like crumbling sand, blown away in chunks by the wind. The same way Miss Dodds had burst apart. Interesting. The monster was gone. The rain had stopped. The storm still rumbled, but only in the distance. I smelled like livestock, and my knees were shaking. My head felt like it was splitting up. My head felt like it was splitting open. I was weak and scared and trembling with grief. I had just seen my mother vanish. I wanted to lie down and cry. There was Grover needing my help, so I managed to haul him up and staggered down into the valley toward the lights of the farmhouse. I was crying, calling for my mother, but I held on to Grover. I wasn't going to let him go. Mom's dead, Perce. God, I haven't read an RR book in like 6 years. Guess this technically counts as an audiobook. Hey, man. Hey, Ball, welcome to the stream, buddy. If you want to call me an audiobook, I'm happy to be an audiobook for you, bro. Staggering down to the valley toward the lights. Okay, he's crying. Yeah, Perce, Mom's dead. Nothing you can do. But I held him to Grover. I wasn't going to let him go. The last thing I remember is collapsing on a wooden porch, looking up at a ceiling fan circling above me, moths around a yellow light, and the stern faces of a familiar-looking bearded man and a pretty girl. Her blonde hair curled like a princess's. They both looked down at me, and the girl said, "He's the one. He must be." "Silence, Annabeth," the man said. "He's still conscious. Bring him inside." And that is the end of chapter 4. And that is roughly the first, 10 or so minutes of the Percy Jackson movie. That was pretty good. Hold on, I need a swig. That was pretty good. Again, nothing really new. A lot of interesting new information that I obviously haven't gotten, really. Since it's been left out, like, the thing with the string. I don't know why they cut that out of the movie. That's a really cool thing. Like someone's gonna die. Something like that. I guess we're meant to assume his mother died, but I kinda know what happens because of the movie, unless it's like that's like not true. I don't know. But yeah, it's that, bro, the movie basically left out everything. Did they? Damn. So I followed some like the main events of this book and remember those from the movies. So there's that much at the very least. Nothing a lot super new except for like the string thing. There's a lot of things like going to Montauk that didn't happen. And some things about the mother knowing more about the bull and stuff, and actually helping Percy to fight it. I didn't know she was actually going to teach him how to fight the bull. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was quite cool. But yeah, man, I'm really enjoying Percy Jackson so far. And if you guys keep turning up for these read streams, I'm gonna keep reading them. You know, it was quite cool. I don't know when the next. I know for certain, I'm definitely gonna do another one next Friday. But I also might do one before that, so you just have to look out for it. If I do one for it, if I have time, I'll end up doing it. I'm really enjoying the series, and I'm really excited to still see the Percy Jackson show on Disney Plus. So I thought that was pretty cool. I basically just read the first episode. I feel like I think that's gonna be basically the first episode. But yeah, I don't really have too many more post-read thoughts, I guess. Other than that, 4 really solid chapters. I think chapter 2 was my favorite just because it was a lot more information that I just hadn't known, and they left out completely from the books, from the movies, I mean. But that was pretty cool. I don't know why Grover is guarding food. We're meeting Annabeth and Chiron again, Mr. Brunner. I assume it's him. Is it a familiar voice, right? So yeah, I cannot wait to see more, and I can't wait to read more. But I think that's gonna have to do it for this stream, guys. Like I said, look out for my next stream. Might be earlier than Friday. If I don't do it, then I will definitely be doing another one again on Friday. And we always do group gaming streams on Saturday. So if you're interested in watching a bunch of idiots fuck around playing probably Baldur's Gate, then you can always turn up for that. But yeah, I think that's going to do it today. Thank you for everybody who showed up during the stream. I really appreciate you. Made it a lot more fun reading with you guys. It wasn't just me sitting in a room reading by myself. I could actually read with people. So I think that's pretty cool. I always like doing that. So yeah, thank you everybody who showed up. I really appreciate you. And damn, I just joined. Really nice though. I'm sorry, A-Ball. I'm so sorry. I wish I could read more. My throat hurts so much and I've already been sitting here for 2 hours. If it's any consolation, the stream is 2 hours long, and you'll still be able to watch it after I'm gone. I'm sorry, man, but thank you for joining anyway. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm kind of droning this on a little bit. So, I'm just gonna say, until next time, end of stream, guys. See ya.